So I actually don't know what they're gonna, but I am expecting some maybe Milio. Milio is, I mean, one of them does play Milio, one of them does play Rao. Milio is either going to be engaged supports the whole time, or they might put in enchanters. I do expect more enchanters though.
We are seeing the bans coming out. We see the Twitch and the Zac for the side of MACMOODIES MANDEM, and the Caitlyn Janna. So obviously respecting the bot lane, and on both sides. But obviously, you know, Twitch is one of these ADC champions that can be a menace, and Caitlyn will always be in the meta. And then Nunu, not a jungle champion you see a lot in these kind of competitive games, but I'm sure you know he can be a pain in the backside for any team.
Very much so. Once a Nunu gets going, if they've got an AP, assuming, they're non-stop just one-shotting people.
And we are seeing the Viego get locked away right nice and early. You would think MACMOODIES have a plan to play on this Viego, because a Viego on his own, not necessarily the scariest thing as we see Lucian get locked in for the Inters. But Viego on his own, not necessarily the scariest thing, but if he can get set up, if he can get those resets, the champion can literally take over a game. What would be your kind of counter pick to this Viego?
I actually don't know. I think any kind of CC just to make sure tanks and CC, just to make sure he doesn't get that first kill. Because once he gets that first kill, he will just snowball and not allow anything to happen for gifted Inters. But Lucian Nami, that could be crazy.
Yeah, we are going back a few seasons here to probably the most OP bot lane pick of the time, the Lucian Nami. I mean, Nami's a champion that will empower this Lucian, do what he wants to do. You don't expect to see a lot of rooms for the Nami, because she wants to be attached to this Lucian. As we see the Braum as an answer. Great answer into a Lucian.
Very much so. If Braum has a shield and Lucian ults, the Lucian will do 0 damage.
Well, that's it. I definitely like the Braum in this situation. I mean, it is a big wall for this Lucian to try and break through. However, if Casper and this Lucian can work his magic, you never know.
It's very important that, as I was going to say, Braum's ADC needs to be an auto attacker for his passive to work, and Sivir is locked in for exactly that.
Sivir's a very safe champ in the sense that she can be standing behind. She's got her shurikens that will just fly about, whether it be pizzas or whatever. Now that's a champion. We see the Master Yi, a jungler I don't see enough of. This is going to be an interesting game here. Very, very damage heavy on the side of Gifted Inters right now.
I do think Master Yi isn't the best pick here, but I could be proven wrong, and he could completely stomp. If he gets a few kills and starts snowballing, he could be even stronger than the Viego easily when he's untargetable, dealing so much damage. Yeah.
I mean, he is going to be a champion that, as long as he gets to his late game scaling, he will run the game. As we've all experienced with a Yi. Problem is, though, he needs to get to that point. Same as, in the same essence, so is Viego. Viego wants that late game scaling, get those resets. As we see the Claire and Cassandra get banned away on the side of Inters. Obviously expecting the Cassandra pick. I mean, Cassandra is always a broken champion.
I mean, Cassandra will hold W and delete half HP, so it's very valid to ban Cassandra. But I think they might go a tank.
Interesting to see, the side. All these bans, like, they're clearly targeting certain picks here, and they don't want the main picks to play. I mean, Mouse is a champion I would never want to see. My concern with the Quinn, looking at this draft, they don't have a lot of frontline.
Absolutely zero frontline. If they don't have a tank versus a Sivir will just do a few auto attacks and the shurikens will bounce. Viego will get a single kill, and then from there he can snowball completely.
In contrast, on the side of MACMOODIES, you're looking at this Cho'Gath and this Braum, which we expect to get locked in, and that will secure a very heavy front line. yes, Inters will look to go in and fight, but if Lucian doesn't have a front line, Viego's going to jump on him. So this is an interesting comp right now. I don't quite see the synergy for the gifted Inters right now.
I mean, if they pick a tank jungler here, because I do think Quinn is top, most likely. It's unlikely to be Quinn jungle. Gifted Inters could pull it back since the damage.
Do you think there's a
very
U
strong.
top?
Aatrox! I'm happy to see Aatrox.
There we go.
Really
we were talking about this before game. So that's gonna be a choke. Oh. That's a. Hold on. Is that Aatrox mid? And we're finally into game, guys. Here we go. And yeah, we don't see any invades from either side. Both sides playing it fairly safe. That's what you kind of expected.
Yeah. I didn't think there was going to be an invade because MACMOODIES is tanky and Inters have lots of engage. It's not best to invade a tank, but it's not to invade as tanks. Kind of this middle ground where you don't want to invade, but you don't want to be invaded.
now that's a Cho'Gath skin if I ever saw one. I appreciate a nice Cho'Gath skin. Not quite as good as the Nessie one, but we do see Halo Blades on this show. Have you seen that a lot, Cynthia?
Halo Blades Cho is actually a good synergy of his E, because his E has 3 auto attacks. So if he Qs E's, then walks away, with Halo Blades, you can get those 3 auto attacks off and just do a bunch of damage. It is looking. I do think he might go AP. But we do have Grasp on the Silas. 2 not orthodox, you could say, rune builds on 2 champions in the same lane.
You would have to imagine this, Silas has had to go Grasp, because apart from that, there's not really a tanky champion on their team. We do see a lot of action in this bot lane so far, but nothing more than just passing trades. Surprisingly, there's a lot's going on to the Severe, and as we've seen in the chat, it's a protect Madame President, the Severe in the bot lane, protect the Queen.
Yeah.
But Brom's not done a great job at level 1.
I do think the ADC needs to build some max HP like Bork, because looking at MACMOODIES, they have a lot of HP, and half of them are HP stacks. Cho'Gath stacks HP, Aatrox stacks AD and HP, so it's kind of going to be if they have enough max health damage. We obviously know Yi will have Bork.
Here we do see Lucian getting a bit more trades onto the Severe. I mean, Brom was too busy trying to poke out the Nami, but Nami's walking away with pretty much 80% health bars. Whereas the side of MACMOODIES Mandem bot lane, a little bit worse than Where. Not liking the incursion with this Enforcer here in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Silas, a nice trade. And as you said with this Cho'Gath, that Halo Blaze proc is doing a lot of damage onto this Severe Silas. Don't think Silas knows exactly how to play this.
I mean, to be fair, it isn't a common matchup, because you don't often see a Cho'Gath in mid lane, much less the Blades. So it's kind of like the situation of going against a Kled. You don't really see him in top lane, so you don't have to play against him. Whilst a Kled main, who keeps playing Kled, knows how to play against your main. So it is kind of just lack of knowledge check pretty much.
And here we do see this Viego looking on this Quinn. The time with Quinn and she can get away. I mean, how is the Aatrox into Quinn matchup?
It's not too fun. You have to literally just wait the entire time until Quinn uses her dash towards you. I think it's her E. As soon as she uses that, she is really easy to kill. But that's assuming you haven't used your W and your Q. Because she uses her only movement ability, you just WQE her, and then, yeah.
We do see Silas going in again. But every time he goes in, he's not winning these trades. You gotta think Silas now just needs to try and farm it out. Which, going into a tank comp and into a Cho'Gath, that feels so counterintuitive. Because you don't want to let him scale. You don't want to let him farm. But you can't do anything right now into him.
he doesn't have enough damage, and he doesn't out-sustain a Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath has his passive, which every time he kills a unit, he gets some HP and mana back. You can't out-sustain the sustainer. Although Sylas can heal his W, it does use quite a bit of mana, which you won't be able to use in a fight or a skirmish, making risk. So you can't give away too much mana in return for damage.
And it's not just that, this Cho'Gath has a TP advantage. He can go in and out of lanes pretty much as he pleases. And now the Sylas is going to have to lose out on a lot of farm and a lot of tempo through the back, whereas Cho'Gath, being gone, can put pressure on this tower. Although we do see Yi just trying to solo this first dragon, and MACMOODIES Mandem just aren't interested. Almost like they don't know what's happening.
They also could just not. Yeah, they could not know.
I mean, Braum is now walking up, and he's kind of sandwiched here. Nami is there. We see the Braum flashing onto the Yi. Yi goes untargetable. But it's just a Braum. The Sevilla's finally joined. Nami gets the first blood at the cost of the Yi. The dragon is still up. Viego is walking down. We do see Sylas pick up the kill onto Sevilla. Has a lot of damage now gone. And yeah, the dragon's reset. We see the flashes coming out. Side of Gifted Inters one more, and honestly, they won that trade.
Yeah, they really did. With Sylas having a Cho'Gath ult, there's no way Viego could not flash there, because he will be instantly executed by the ult that Sylas stole. That's why Sylas stealing good ults can change parts of the game, because he had to give away flash so early into the game just to survive and not give an extra stack to the Sylas.
Well, that's just it. We are seeing already, you know, the synchronized soul boots on this Cho'Gath wanting to be back with the empowered recalls. Meanwhile, we're already fighting back up at Grubs. Yi, it can't do anything. The biggest count to Yi is CC. And when you've got a Cho'Gath, you've got plenty of that.
Yeah. Here they just get a Void Grubs for free now. There's nothing Inters can do here. I do think it's an interesting choice that both mid laner and top did not take TP and took Ignite instead.
And here we do see the replay of that fight. It's just a much far too brave and engaged from the Braum. I mean, at that point, if you don't do that, you just lose a dragon. So the fact that they managed to stop the dragon was big, but you end up giving a lot over for that. But you then get it back over in the top lane. At the Grubs.
Yeah.
We do see them. They're straight back on it with a pink ward. Viego is in the area, they are questioning it. But this time they've got Lucian as well, and I think that will just be a traded objective. So, Gifted Inters, as much as it's been a bit sketchy, we are one away from the feat strength on the kills. Prediction who's going to get it now, after we've seen the first couple of engages?
To be honest, I do think in the early game, I really think Gifted have got the chance to just completely snowball, but it's about not letting MACMOODIES have the interest in the game. If they have control of the game and want to start snowballing and start removing the agency that Gifted Inters right now has, because I do think Gifted Inters are in a better position. They could completely ruin the expectations of MACMOODIES winning.
Well, they are down in gold by only about 500 gold. Which isn't names for that. However, this Cho'Gath is looking for a gank on the bot lane. Who needs to be able to gank you when you've got the big dinosaur? And they're looking right on that sea serpent. And she's just going to fall, giving it to their queen, the Sevilla. And that is feat of strength to the side of the MACMOODIES Mandem. Looking to run... looking to run ragged over this bot lane.
I really did think that MACMOODIES Mandem were going to give over a kill in bot lane, but it turns out they were the ones to take it.
Thing is, Viego can now look for gank on topside. Quinn flashes under the turret. Doesn't get much purchase that, and that will just be a dead Quinn. Beautiful reset from the Viego, and it's all going the Mandem's way right now.
I really did think that there wasn't really much to do there. Quinn, you should have just taken the loss of the death and just save flash, because versus an Aatrox having no flash is very, very bad. Because
Silas is caught out here again as well. He was looking to do something top side. He is there, but you can't even get in the fight. Has to pop the ulti just to run away. It's all falling apart for Gifted Hunters already.
Yeah, as I did predict, as contrary to, I didn't predict that late game they're gonna win, but it looks like they're a lot better at skirmishing than Gifted Inters. MACMOODIES just have that.
And here we go. Here
of doing that.
comes replay of this engage, and I mean, Nami just gets caught out. She just can't get out. She's not got enough movement speed. She manages to get her ADC to safety at the cost of her own life. And then this dive, I mean, Cynthia, as a top laner, that's your dream kind of dive, right?
Oh, definitely. When the jungler does come to my lane.
And then obviously this style is just getting caught out. And it's always a bad feeling when you get caught out in your own jungle. And we're just going straight from a replay to another bit of action. This one's all Nami caught out again. I'm not trying to say that name, but the Nami is caught out. That's twice now she's been caught out with a gank with his Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
And Nami's a very feast of famine. I find her a very feast of famine support. If you play her really well, she can influence the game massively. Otherwise, it can quickly spiral, and you can end up with 8-9 deaths.
Oh yeah.
But she's not got a lot of movement speed, and she is fairly squishy.
Yeah. Proof of that in the first game, the first series, game of the first series. Not listen to Nami. Nami was not looking good. Started dying and then 0-6 on me.
And if you hopefully it doesn't go that way, but yeah, we do see an engaged fight over there. We do see he manages one of them. However, they're probably going to give the... Oh no, they do get the Viego. That's a big one to get. However, you're now trapped in a pit with a dinosaur and the World Ender. We do see Yi getting out to safety, but unfortunately his team don't have the same fate. Another 2 kills going over to this Aatrox. This chosen Althea, you're too tanky, boys. I'm guessing fairly tanky.
Just the sheer amount of healing, tankiness, just they don't have enough damage to deal with that. They get caught in too many places. Cho'Gath is 0-3. Aatrox is 2-0. Sorry, I meant Cho'Gath is 3-0, not 0-3. What am I saying? But I just think it's going to start snowballing. Cho'Gath being strong in the early game is a bit dangerous.
Well, that's it. He is the champion that will always scale, and if he can start executing you with his ults, he's just going to get bigger and bigger. As we do see a tidal wave go wide, however, Severe is way ahead of her shield, but that doesn't matter. She's lanes casters, who is actually playing bot lane, not mid. And Severe somehow manages to get out, but Silas is looking to punish. He does get spotted, and Yi's here as well. They're looking to just get on this Severe, but he gets away on the turret, and Viego's looking for the counter gank here. As we see you go, and the big dinosaur's here as well. And yeah, I'm afraid for the side of the Gifted Inters, there's not so much gifted here. All they're doing is gifting the MACMOODIES MANDEM kills. This Cho'Gath is 4-0-4, and they're about to take their second dragon, and they will, their first dragon, and be one objective away from a pair of boots.
Yeah, I do think that MACMOODIES is starting to now snowball, especially with that Sivir, not even afraid of a 2v1 versus the Nami Lucian combo, because Lucian didn't actually have his full item yet, making the 2v1 very, very possible for the Sivir. And with her barrier, the very good timing, it just made the possible reality.
So if you decide of Gifted Inters, Cynthia, what would you do? Try and get back in. You're 14 minutes in, you're down 8 kills, you're down 4.5k gold. What's your strategy to get back in the game?
I'd definitely try kill the Cho'Gath. It may not seem like the best decision, but as you see in the Cho'Gath back to mid, but I isolate someone and just completely gank them. I'd abandon mid at ADC at this point, because it's reaching to a point where the ADC is too strong and I don't think anyone can kill Silver at this point, with the Braum doing excellent job as support.
I mean, he might not be able to kill the Severe, but he's looking for the kills as they get the exhaust on the Lucian. Lucian's all alone, and Viego dives in, but doesn't quite get anything from it. But we do see Lucian fall to the Severe. Casper's not having a fun time of it right now.
Very much not. I also wouldn't be having a fun time either. if you see your lane constantly ganked by Cho'Gath, Viego, but his Cho'Gath is doing a very good job. I did not think Cho'Gath mid would work that well, but against Sylas, who is a melee AP,
as we do see them get caught in a choke point again, and that is just asking for the Cho'Gath to knock you up. They might have to disengage though. Meanwhile, Aatrox is ending this Quinn's world right now. You said it was quite a dodgy matchup for the Aatrox, but even taking tower shots, I'm not really seeing it.
I'm mostly saying if Quinn plays her distance well and make sure Aatrox cannot engage on her, then she uses her E immediately to make that distance, then Aatrox cannot hit her. But the Quinn is not making the distance correctly, as I think should have been definitely. It's not too hard of a matchup for the Quinn, I don't think, at least personally. Aatrox should be hitting his Qs very well, as I did see. So it's very possible that...
Oh my god! That was near half health. Sightless just got gobbled by this dinosaur. In the meantime, obviously, we did see the Severe take the bot lane tower. The Gettins are going to get one back and claim that bounty. But they've got two towers. Severe's looking for a third. They've got a brand new pair of boots, and they want a Shelly to go with it.
Gifted Inters are playing a very, very dangerous game. They need something to bring it back. It's a 6k gold lead, I think.
Yeah, pretty much bang on 6k gold lead. This Aatrox
really
2-0-3, a 5-0 Cho'Gath, a 2-1 Viego, and a 4-1 Severe. All the lanes you want to be ahead are absolutely smashing it, and just asserting their dominance.
Very interesting Cho'Gath build, which I have personally never seen before. I mean, it's working. He's completely winning. He's 5-0 with 4 assists, ganking, and never dying. I have seen this quite a bit in solo queue. The whole idea about it is this Cho'Gath's not going to die, right? He's got insane scaling. He will do insane damage no matter what. You've got your Shirelias for that movement speed, so not only can you get close to your team, to the enemy, your whole team can, and chase them down. So you can just go and eat that backline. So Casper's not, he's not safe. He does not have the Braum or an Aatrox to protect him. He has a tiny Caesar. He's very safe for that, even if it's not the usual full tank. But he's fine because all they have is damage, and they have a bunch of squishies. If Cho'Gath can just get on a squishy, which is their whole team, he can one-shot them with a quick Q, E, Hail of Blades, and then
Talking looking for an engage. This Viego going in his shroud, and both sides just reluctant to engage, waiting for the other side to overstep. I think this is our first full-blown 5v5 shaping up since that. And you got to think, for Gifted Inters, you need something here. As Cho'Gath is looking to engage, almost gets a knock up on the Silas, but he does get out. All of them grouped up. Quinn gains more vision. We do see the flash come out of the Braum, but at this point this Dragon's already half health. And when you've got a double smite, I mean, he just eats the jungler. You might not be able to get slowed, but it doesn't stop you getting eaten. And now the MACMOODIES Mandem are looking to run roughshod over the Giga Inters. Cho has eaten 1, he's eaten 2. And Aatrox ends the Silas's world. Certainly's wreaking havoc in the mid lane. I think we're looking already towards game 2 here, because MACMOODIES Mandem have this one in complete control.
Yeah, as I did say, just the sheer amount of HP they have is very hard to just bite through. They need to single out the target and kill them one by one. But they kill.
Braum just doesn't die in this replay, and that just allows the Cho'Gath to jump on that back line And like Quinn just can't do anything. The Stylist can't do anything. The whole damage comp's great. But you need somebody to peel. You need someone to be that engaged. And they just don't have it.
Yeah. And all they have is auto attacks. So building armor and just anti-auto attack, and the can't do anything. As they live up to the name of Inters. But do they have the gift to make it back and bring it back? Because I think game 1 is going to just lose. I think it's more of a draft if draft did go better, if gifted Inters had any kind of tank, I think even a Mundo would have done well here.
Well, we are
even
seeing
if it's really bad in Aatrox, do you think any sort of tank?
Yeah, we are seeing them taking control of this mid lane, and they have a lot of vision around this voracious AT cap. However, you can't do much of objectives if you don't have a jungler, and you just got deleted. Like, that was not even a 2-second fight.
That wasn't even a fight, that was a slaughter.
I mean, this Yi's not really worked out for Corvin. He's tried, but we do see this side of MACMOODIES Mandem trying to gain a bit of pride back for the mini LCS against these raiders from the League of Friends. And they are just going to absolutely walk over this voracious Atacan. So now, this comp that wants to be in your face, wants to run you down, has a free life.
I don't think Silas build is a bit of a throw. He's solo AP and he's got an AD bruise, which is very, very unusual. His team is already heavy auto attack based, and he's gone Silas, which most of his damage is in his auto attacks. So I think going that first item has completely snuffed out any kind of like any kind of agency in the early game, you could say. He doesn't do high burst, which is exactly what they needed against the Sivir.
And we do see the 4 men of the MACMOODIES Mandem. They're just going all guns are blazing. The Nami gets blown up. Meanwhile, in this bot lane, as we said, this Celis can't do much even against his Aatrox. Even taking the Aatrox out and activating it. They are going to lose that mid inhib. And Silas is not long for this world, you fear.
Yeah. Especially with the Atakan. Oh my god.
Jack just got busted in that bot lane, and now MACMOODIES Mandem, back as a quintet, are looking to run this in through the bot lane. They will clean up the bot lane tier team. Lucian is trying to fire, trying to do something, trying to do anything to break down these massive defences. Problem is, you have 3 beefy boys in the Cho'Gath, the Braum and the Aatrox.
And don't forget, they all have a second life. Even if they all die once, they just respawn back in base, so it's not even worth a kill. Even if you kill that Cho'Gath by some means, a miracle by God, he's just going to be back in base and you get 100 gold with a little bit of pity.
Well, that's it, you get what, 1,000 gold if you somehow manage to kill all 5 of them?
But keep in mind, get the passive, so it's worthless. Even if you kill him, it's just a delay in time. That's just how powerful it is.
Well, that's it. We are 11k down for the side of the Gifted Inters, and as Yuna says in the chat, we're pretty much looking at next game. Now, what champions and what alterations do you want to see from the side of the Gifted Inters going into game 2?
Gifted Inters needs more tanks and more anti-tanks, because Lucian ADC into a comp where there's Aatrox, there's Cho'Gath, it's not really.
This is disgusting. We've seen the Cho'Gath virtually fight under the turret. This Nami gets blown up, so isolated from a team. I don't know why they're so lost, but like, I would love to see a stat check on this Cho'Gath, because he must be on 15 stats.
That's how it even a fight, or was it just him walking for a free meal?
It's a definite happy meal for this dinosaur. And they are,
doing nothing, absolutely nothing.
Aatrox is just tormenting this Silas as his base crumbles. As all 3 inhibitors broken open, and the attention will now be set to the big purple worm just to secure this game. Even though they probably don't need it.
I think if they went mid right now, they could win easily. They've got that Aatrox just torment to that Silas. So Silas and Aatrox both never die. They both heal way too much to die. But just the rest of the team just 4v4s and the game's just going to start ending. Honestly, if this was solo queue, I know my team would have already FF'd.
Well, you do have the world ender in top lane, and at 4-0-5, him and this Cho'Gath have ended the world of the Gifted Inters in game 1. They just never really got in the game.
I do think that even if the Aatrox, even if top entered, that Sivir, just the threat of her doing so much damage and that Cho'Gath never dying, it's I think even if the top lane didn't do well, the game would have been over. Even if the jungler didn't do well, just purely from that bottom side, the mid lane and the bot side, they just solo carried the entire game. I mean, not saying that Aatrox and Diego haven't been doing anything, just they have been doing even more.
Yi having to flash away in his own jungle because of this absolute dominant dinosaur.
They just left to play tower defense.
They don't have any towers to play tower defense at this point. Like,
They have 2 left, you never know.
We do see the minions raining down on the base. The Baron back coming from this Cho'Gath. Meanwhile, that Death Ball roams up this mid lane, carrying a wave of minions. This is a final stand for the Gifted Inters. Problem is, they won't be left standing for long. We see ults going everywhere. Toki is godlike. Quinn picks up a kill. The first tower falls. Severe is literally able to poke into the fountain. Stylus is left running for his life, and then MACMOODIES MANDEM absolutely kill, and their own men will clean up game 1.
Not even safe in their own fountain, dying to that Civ A with that Q at the end.